All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Burn Podcast Sunday selection show preview for week 6 of swyysh Fantasy. And this is a special week because we will be playing in the Whale Swyysh League. Now, but last video when we started to do a little bit of an intro, we didn't have the exact number breakdowns for what the prizes would actually be. We found it here on Twitter. $200 in whale token will go to the first prize winner, $120 to the second prize, $120 to the third, and then 4 through 10, $80. So that this is exciting to go along with the swyysh prizes that we'll just get in the swyysh league. And if we look into this past week here, we're coming up on Sunday, last day, we're sitting at 62. And frankly, we just really haven't been in the mix for any sort of prizes. And this week it was due to our Chris Paul selection. I think Rudy needs to be questioned at this point if he's an automatic start. Giannis and Joker were good. As you can see, Steph Curry is the only logical really play. Zach LaVine has been hot. He has been putting up some really nice numbers. But I feel good rolling out with Steph there. And let's kind of flip over to the next sheet. This is actually going to be week 6, so we can go ahead and do that live on screen. These numbers are true in terms of games for this week. Again, I haven't added this date correctly. I think that puts us to the 21st. And, for me, it's going to really kind of zone in on these 3 guys. Zion, Giannis, and the Joker. I do want to check to see how things are going. Joel Embiid might be an intriguing option. I had been using ESPN and NBA.com. However, I found this website that is going to be really helpful for our 2-point bucket conundrum. So if you go to team rankings, you go to the shooting category, and you will actually get to see 2-point field goals made, which is exactly where you get points in swyysh Fantasy. And so this will be all the games for this past year. Zion and Giannis, obvious options. Bradley Beal, Joker, also fellow burners. Don't have an AD card. Maybe that's something that we're going to want to look to acquire. Joel Embiid, another burner. Kawhi Leonard's another guy that we were thinking about acquiring. We'll look at that later in the show. Jaylen Brown. What's nice is you can kind of look to see, let's see, who's been hot lately. The past 2 weeks. That's a good little range just to kind of get a snapshot of what's happening. Giannis and Joel, I think De'Aaron Fox is a lovely option. He is a burner. We did acquire him for the Cool Cat Challenge. Haven't sold him yet, so that's a guy. Leonard's still kind of kicking around. Zion and Joker, Big V we have. So good options in the past week, and in the past 4 weeks is a little bit larger of a sample size. You have kind of, the guys we're really considering. So that's good. And then when we look into, for those guys, we have 4 games, but, I do want to know how those games arrive in the week. We got bit really bad by having Joel Embiid miss a game or 2 in a week that we started him in week prior. And, missing a game is deadly in this contest. You can't do it. And so what I'd like to be able to do is like this Atlanta Hawks is the ideal schedule for the week. You have games spread out with an off day. If your star players, you got to assume, provided that there's no injury, is going to play the most amount of minutes in those 4 games spread. So Atlanta Hawks, like off the top of my head, Trae Young's got to play this week, right? And then Dallas Mavericks, we had the Luka card, the Luka assist. We only have 2 games, so that's going to be tough. Can't play Luka this week. Had the Pellies with Zion, have a back-to-back, so that's not great. Same thing with Joker, back-to-back, that's not great. Also on the road for Joker and the East Coast, so that smells like a sitting opportunity. I mean, we're going to have to do some research into Joker. He's not soft by any means. He might definitely play. But something we're considering. Back to Giannis, he's got a back-to-back, but he's at home. he's at home, and he's going to see some familiar faces with Toronto, Oklahoma, Sacramento. That smells like a lot of 2-point buckets for Giannis. We picked up a Ja Morant assist. He's got 2 back-to-backs. That's not going to happen for us this week. But trying to stay on track here with the 2-point options. It's Zion, Giannis, Joker, and Embiid. So I'd like to see where Embiid is at, and he's got the perfect schedule. Boom, 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 boom. And for us, that's going to be something that we really want to zone in on. It's possible that he's still dealing with some injuries, in which case the perfect schedule doesn't help. Can't ignore the fact that they go from Utah back home, back to Toronto, so that it's the NBA, man. Obviously the guys are doing their thing. Rudy, we'll get to Rudy in a second, but I think for us, what we're going to want to do is zone in on is Joel Embiid going to play all 4 games, and so we should probably play him. It's going to be really, really tough to get away from Giannis, and then it becomes, if Joel is not worthy of our trust, do we like the Joker on a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, all on the road, or do we like Zion at Memphis, back home to New Orleans for a 3-game homestand? It feels like Zion, but the player also matters, right? So we're going to have to take a look into Zion and make sure that things are trending in the right direction. So for us, we're just going to go ahead and, if we can do it, oh boy. So this is when the dictionary comes up. Don't need the dictionary. So we're going to have these guys be our orange options. Gonna get some orange into him, and then we're just going to make a little pink note on De'Aaron, just to make sure that we're not missing a really nice option this week. Okay, like I said, for 3-point options, it's pretty straightforward. The numbers here really, really do make a difference. If you go to 3-point field goals made, all games, Steph is, for the season leading, but what have you done for me lately has really, really stood out. Last 2 weeks, I think he's at 7, a little bit short, 6.2. Paul George is up there. Okay, Paul. And then in 4 weeks, we're really stretching this website, saying we still have Steph, leading the way in the past 4 weeks. So, let's just make sure that from a scheduling perspective, we're not missing the bill here. And Golden State, he's got 4. Yes, he's got a back-to-back on the road, but that isn't going to really bother me from picking Steph. So we're going to pick Steph here. He's going to be our obvious option. And I think the obvious option kind of moves forward into this one. We have 2 guys with 4 games this week. They both have great schedules with the Hawks and the Sixers. I'll take a look more into Ben Simmons as the week progresses, but you saw the swyysh fantasy leaderboard. It's a lot of Trae Young or Luka. Draymond Green is a nice play that's an out of the box that paid some dividends. I think James Harden's a great play too, but for me right now, Trae Young is the guy. We'll do our due diligence on Ben, but don't want to get stuck into that week 4 conundrum where maybe if we go Ben and Joel, we can really hit it big. I'm not going to do that. And then, for the last piece here, I'd like to research other options than just Rudy. He's an acquisition we made. He was integral in terms of securing our cool cat in the first challenge. We were able to make a little profit off of him. But someone I want to look into are Nerlens Noel and Fred VanVleet. They both have 4 games this week. Let's take a look at their schedule. The New York Knicks have a decent week. The Toronto Raptors have a decent week. And the Utah Jazz have a short week. So let's jump into our favorite new website. I have to go to the basic category and go into blocks. And, Rudy obviously has been a lead leaguer. When we first acquired Rudy, his value is a little bit closer to 4. And it's dripped since we've been playing him. And for that reason, we're going to call him into question. And, it's been okay. Okay, it's been okay. We can't necessarily say that it's been terrible the past 2 weeks. But Nerlens Noel's been hot. And in the past 4 weeks, we have, a little bit of the same. There was that week where Clint Capella went off. So it was good to, just remember. And looking into the steals, we're, again, looking for Fred VanVleet and maybe any other options. And yes, he is, but, that's basically half of what Nerlens Noel and Rudy are at. Want to just be certain that there hasn't been anything crazy happening the past 2 weeks. Okay, Dario, I'm not sure if that moment exists, but interesting. Fred VanVleet jumping up to 2 per game in the past 2 weeks. That's good. And, Dario, again, is a master thief. And Fred VanVleet might be an interesting option, but, I think when we look into Nerlens Noel, what had always been a concern for me is the amount of minutes he was getting. He is an incredibly athletic. I wish I had that popped up. I'm sorry for you guys, but I'll talk through it. He's a very athletic center, mobile, not necessarily gifted offensively, but his athleticism really shows on the defensive side of the floor. We are excited about his potential in terms of being able to come in every night, but if he's not going to be on the floor, that's a problem for us. And Botgate is just not going to cooperate, so we'll just keep filling in the void with other hot takes. And I think what I'm hoping to see is that some sort of inclination that Nerlens Noel is going to be someone that can be trusted to at least be out on the floor. And let's slowly but surely move our way to Nerlens Noel. He had 2 blocks last night against the Rockets, so that was good to see. And he got 32 minutes. Want to do some digging live on air as to what's going on. I, again, apologize for the Botgate. We're going to continue to just talk our way through it. And if we go to his overview and latest news, 7 hours ago it was reported that got the start in place of Mitchell Robinson. It seems as though he has the chance to to be the starting center as long as Robinson remains sidelined. I thought I saw that Robinson will remain sidelined for at least the foreseeable future. Let's see if we can't do some digging on Mitchell. Again, this is a lengthy process, and Botgate's not participating with us, but it's necessary research, right? You want to know what's happening with your guys, and there's money on the table this week now. It's not necessarily all fun and games. We need to find out where Mitchell Robinson's at, and if he isn't going to be sidelined for at least this week, I think we're going to have to go Nerlens Noel. Again, we'll see here. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So that's kind of all I need to know there. Thanks for working with that storm with me. I think we will do our due diligence with Fred VanVleet, and if nothing else, I want to just send a message to Rudy to say, hey man, you're just not going to get rolled out there every week. You're going to have to start producing. And the Selection Sunday show will do a deep dive into our 2-bucket options, because I think that's kind of where the most amount of research needs to be done. There's a lot going on, on this team rankings website in our shooting category. Not only do we have our 2-point field goals made, but we have attempted. So that maybe can give us some information as to, who's getting some opportunities. Because ultimately that's what we're looking for. And we're seeing some familiar faces. Andre Drummond was a Diamonds in the Rough candidate that was talked about on our podcasts. And, looking into, what have you done for me in a little bit lately with Joel Embiid getting all those looks, that's tough. Now, doesn't mean that Giannis and Joker are too far behind. I think those are two quality options. And Zion sitting in 11 is not too far away. So we'll have to do some more thought and research into that, and want to look into De'Aaron just to do our also due diligence. But that'll do it for the preview, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys for the Selection Sunday show later this afternoon.